Hi, I'm Russell Holden. We're in the Cadillac and I'm on my way up to see Peter Logan
Tell me
from
about
Logan's
the different
Wines.
varieties of
Today
pig
we're
and
going
what
to
you're
do a
actually
wonderful
aiming to do
pork
as
dish,
far as
which
the breeding
I've
and
managed to get
the
some
quality
local
of meat you want
chestnuts
to
and
produce
some
out of
local
pigs.
pink lady apples.
Well, the
And we're
reason
going
that
to make
we,
a stuffing
the reason
to
that
go
we
into
started producing
the free-range pork
is
and
really
roll it
on
and
two
roast
grounds.
it. And I'm hoping that Peter Logan will be able to guide us to get a very nice fruity wine that will go with the pork dish. So let's go up the road and have a chat to Peter and see what we can get.
People have had to produce meat and other products based purely on price, and now people are more concerned about the taste of the meat that we're eating and the produce that we're eating. There's also a lot more environmental awareness. People want things to have been grown in a less intensive way because it's better for the environment.
You obviously try and do things in a very environmentally friendly and humane way. Tell me about some of the other practices that you put in that are not necessarily the same as, you know, the really intensive pig farming practices.
A lot of practices which are commonly done in intensive pig farms are designed to try and enable the pigs to live in the wrong environment. So a lot of their practices are, I have to say, a bit back to front. They have a problem, which is, for instance, fighting or chewing the tails off other piglets. And the reason that they're doing that is because they're bored and they're kept in the wrong environment. If there's plenty of stimulus and if they're outside, then they don't need to do those, they don't exhibit those behaviours. So instead of having to clip their sharp teeth off at a couple of days old, which is what is done routinely in intensive piggeries, we don't have to do that at all, and we don't have any problems as a consequence. We don't clip the tails off when they're newborn or at all. So you can see with the pigs here, they've all got nice curly tails, and they don't chew each other's tails off because they're out rooting around in the environment. They're playing with twigs, they're rooting and grubbing up with trees, they're wallowing in the wallows, they're exhibiting their normal behaviours, so you don't get these abnormal behaviours, or stereotypies as they're called. So we don't have to clip their tails, we don't have to clip their teeth, we don't have to give them an iron injection when they're a week old, because they're outside and they're getting iron from the mud and the earth. If you're keeping them inside, then it means that you have to do a lot more to prevent problems, which is what you're about.
Very natural environment is what you're basically saying.
Very natural environment.
So tell me, James, why Mudgee? Why pigs?
Okay, Mudgee was, well, it's a beautiful area, and it's an area where people seem to have an appreciation of food, and particularly wine. It's obviously been a wine area for a long time, and we thought that it would be we thought that there would be a market locally for what is basically a boutique speciality type product.
Okay, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Good. Gosh. Wait, pigs.
Very interesting. We've got about half an hour left with the pork, so in the meantime, we'll start on the veggies that are going with the dinner. We've got some Dutch carrots that are beautiful, fresh, local carrots. I've got some potatoes that I've got on the boil there, which we're actually going to squash down and roast in the oven. And we've got some wonderful garlic shoots, which we'll actually saute in the fat from the pork at the end of the cooking process. So let's just start with the carrots and we'll peel them. So don't throw the tops away, but the tops actually make a wonderful garnish. If you put them in ice water, it'll actually stand up nice and crisp, and it's a beautiful garnish for a meal. And as I said, we'll saute them in the pork fat that's left from the roasting. So as simple as that. Okay, so that pork should be just about ready by now. We'll actually test it by inserting the skewer and being able to tell what the internal temperature of the pork is. So just insert the skewer in, count to 10. That gives the skewer time to actually take hold of the heat that's in there, touch it on the bottom of your lip. If it's warm as this is, it tells you that the meat is warm inside and therefore it's cooked. Just let that rest. What we've done here is we've taken what was left of the juices in the pan and we've heated it up until the juices are actually reduced so far that they actually stick to the bottom of the pan. And what we want to do now is deglaze the pan. Now the number one thing to know here is that if you heat it up too much and reduce them too far, they will burn, and you don't want that to happen. Okay, so we'll now pour the fat into the pan, and you'll see that it's nice, clear fat. And that's what we'll use to saute our vegetables off. So I'll just put that on the stove. I'll put this back on the stove first and we'll deglaze it, and while that's reducing down, then we'll finish our sauce and then saute our vegetables. There's our potatoes, which we'll put on there like so. Then we'll just cut the string. You'll notice that the stuffing stayed in the end as I said it would, that because we've rested it, it hasn't immediately jumped open when it came out of the oven. Now we'll just lift that crackling off. Right, and then we quite simply cut the end off the pork because that's the daggiest looking bit. And we're just going to cut some nice big thick slices. And put that on there like so. Peter? James?
Fantastic, thank you.
That's it.
Beautiful piece of pork, James. Heaps of flavour. It goes great with the wine. Really nice.
Sensory perfection.
You didn't hear that, did you, Andrea?